Hello and welcome to another World Cup fantasy video. I spoke yesterday about my booster strategy, and today I'm going to talk about my list of players to avoid. It's not a list of players to avoid for the whole tournament. Things may change. There's players on this list who are a definite avoid because they're injured. List of players to avoid for match day one. I was going to call this my list of frauds, but I've downgraded that slightly. I was perhaps being a bit over the top with the use of the word fraud. The first player, the goalkeeper you want to avoid for match day one, is Raya. Now, I'm sure if there's a casual manager watching this right now, they're going to be thinking, why do you want to avoid the player who got the most FPL points for a goalkeeper, the most FPL points for UCL in UCL fantasy? Well, he's the second most owned goalkeeper and he's not going to start. Simon is going to start for Spain. So if he's not going to start, doesn't matter how many points he's got in the past, he's not going to get any points in the future coming up. World Cup fantasy. No. Get him out your team. What are these casuals doing? There's a lot of casual managers, and you're going to come to that same conclusion when you look at some of these percentages. Next up, second goalkeeper to avoid. He's got a high ownership as well. 12.5%. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a big percentage, and it's a high price for a player who's a doubt to start in the first game. Manuel Neuer is getting a lot of injuries this season. It'll be because he's 40 years old. I mean, when you're 40, you just walk out the front door and you get injured. Walk the car, boom, your hamstring's gone. Open the car door, dislocate a finger. It's obviously happening to this guy. You can't be having him in your team. Absolutely not. Speaking of injury doubts, Reece James, if he's fit, he's a good player. It's just a problem about how fit he is, how often he's fit. For Chelsea last season, with games that he's on 3 or 4 days rest, he's only averaging 64 minutes. So when you're in the World Cup and you've got a game every 4 or 5 days, it's just a risk. He's not going to be playing 90 minutes every single game. Expensive as well. There's plenty of good options, plenty of better options in defence than Reece James. David Raum. If he was playing, he'd be a lock in my team. Attacking fullbacks is what you want for your defenders with this game, especially with the amount of points for goals. A goal for a defender is going to be like, I don't know, like Christmas. You get a defender who gets a goal, the amount of points you get in this game. Unfortunately, he's not going to play. There's a German called Brown, who's apparently ahead of Diamond Dave in the pecking order. Unfortunately, we can't have David Raum in our team for match day one. This is a risk. This is a big risk. He is very highly owned for a defender. But you can't have everybody in your team. You can't have every good player in your team. There's players you're going to have to bet against, and I wouldn't say I'm happy to bet against Gabriel, but I'm prepared to bet against him. 5.5, expensive for defender, high ownership, which I'm prepared to take on. If you're going to make big risks, big gains, you're going to take big risks. Conversely, if that risk goes against you, it could be a big loss. It's not the easiest fixture to start with. Morocco, I think they won the African Cup of Nations. They were definitely in the top 2. The fixture you do want to target for Brazil is this middle one here. 80 should slap them silly. But considering the other options, I'm gonna back against Gabriel. And the final defender, another attacking player, another attacking fullback. I would love in my team if he was nailed. Unfortunately, he's not. I think, what's he called? Plays for Fulham. Castagne. Yep, him. He's, I think he's ahead of him in the pecking order. I'm not going to, you can't be taking risks. Match day one. I'm on the strategy. If you watched my video yesterday, wildcarding in match day 3. So I want a team for match day 1 and 2. I don't want to be wasting transfers on defenders. Forwards and midfielders is where I want to be using my free transfers, my 2 free transfers for match day 2. Midfielders, Yamal, I've mentioned a couple of times that this is a list of players to avoid for match day 1. Yamal is very highly owned. I think he's the 3rd most owned player in the game. He hasn't played any minutes for Spain in these friendlies. He's injured, unlikely to start. If he's unlikely to start, you can't have him in your team. Not for 10 million. you just look at that figure right there and you think, wow, there's a lot of casual managers who have signed up for this game. Great two fixtures though. Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia. He'd be in absolutely everybody's team if he was fit. He's not though. And I'm gonna, as I said, I'm gonna wildcard in 3. I'm sure Spain will win the first 2 games. And like what they did in the previous Euros, they played a weakened team for the 3rd game. I expect a weakened team there. And like Yamal, Nico Williams is also injured. If he's fit, have him in your team. If he is not fit, don't have him in your team. Very good price though. Williams and Yamal, I expect Spain to qualify. Expect them to get through the next round. One of the favourites for the competition, and these 2 players will probably be in my team later on in the tournament, but certainly not for match day 1. I'm surprised that Salah's ownership is so low, 5.2%. It is a shock. He is he washed? Is that too hard to say? Certainly in the Premier League he's washed. He could do the business in the World Cup. I don't want to pay 10 million for him. There's better options out there. And a tricky first game against Belgium. Absolutely not for me. No chance. Let's move on to the forwards. And if I was to make a video on my list of frauds, this is the #1 fraud at the World Cup, Lukaku. I would upgrade fraud to disgrace. Last season for Napoli, he only played 44 minutes. In friendlies for Belgium so far, he's played 43 minutes. 1 less minute in the whole of the previous season. You've just got no assurance he's going to play significant minutes every 3, 4, 5 days or whatever it is. No chance. And even when he was injured with Napoli, he went to Belgium to do his own rehabilitation. If he did that, I don't know. Maybe he was at McDonald's every night, but then he didn't even let Napoli that he wasn't going to go back. Absolute disgrace. The amount of money they spent on this bloke. Shocking. You'd think I was a Napoli fan by the way there's my emotional reaction to him. No, absolute stealing a living. That's what he's doing. That's why he's on my definitely on my list of frauds. Some guy who's not a fraud, Alvarez. I do like him. I think he's a top player. He's looking like he's going to get a big money move this summer, possibly to Barcelona. He's not going to be on pens for Argentina. He's probably going to start ahead of Martinez, but he'll get subbed off for Martinez. And 8.3 million. There's a few good options in the sort of 7 to 7.5 million range. Plus the first 2 fixtures, not that great. Algeria, quite a good team. Austria, quite a good team as well. As I mentioned before, I'm going to wildcard for round 3. If Argentina need a win and they're not going to rotate, then I would get Argentina players in for Jordan. If Alvarez is nailed, playing every minute, I could have him in, but certainly not for match day 1. No thanks. And the final player, this list of players to avoid. Shankland. You're probably thinking, who is Shankland? He plays for Scotland. The best thing I can say about him is he's cheap, and Scotland have got a good first fixture against Haiti. There's much better options in up front. I mean, could you look yourself in the mirror having a Scot in your team, in your World Cup fantasy team? Absolutely not. No chance. And that's all I've got to say about that. So thank you for watching. I will, before you go, I will say I'm going to have my first draft up tomorrow. I'm not like these other YouTubers who have a different draft every single day. Oh, look at my different draft. Look at my latest draft. One draft's all you need. All about efficiency here at FSD. Thank you for watching.